Are you ready to get rid of the belly fat? Then I need you to grab a pen and a paper and get ready to take notes because I have a lot of information for you that you will be able to use and come up with your own plan on how to lose your belly fat. So, let me introduce myself. My name is Brenda Green. I'm the owner of Fit for a Better Me and creator of Virtually Better Fitness, where we teach women that being fit and healthy is actually easy when you stop dieting and start moving. So, in this video, in this live, you will learn what is belly fat, and you'll also get 5 steps needed for you to lose it. Now, so if anyone has any questions, feel free to post in the comments. Please give me permission so I can actually see the comments. It's going to be the link on top of the video. And if you could see and hear me, please let me know. I would love to see who is out there because I see there's 2 people out there. All right. So what is belly fat? What is belly fat? So there's 2 types of fat in your belly. There's subcutaneous fat, and that is really the soft layer that sits right directly under your skin. And that's not really, hi, somebody said, hey, I'm not sure who it was. That's the soft layer that sits right underneath your skin. And that's not the belly fat that we're trying to, that really worries us. That's not like the little bit when you pinch your sides, you get a little bit on the side. That's what that's what it is. Now, the one that we trying to lose is that stubborn belly fat. The belly fat that's actually called visceral fat. And this is the fat that is stored around your abdominal cavity. And it surrounds your organs like your liver, your stomach, your kidneys, your intestines. That's the fat that we really want to get rid of, and that's the fat that's actually dangerous. Hold on a sec. Facebook, I'm trying to share this. Yeah, go ahead and share it. Thank you so much. Please share this video. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments. All right, so we're talking about the stubborn fat. So the stubborn fat is metabolically active. And what does that mean? That means that it's basically an organ itself. It's really pumping out inflammatory substances that really interfere with our body, interferes with our hormones. It interferes with how we regulate our appetite, our weight, our mood, our brain function, and it sends our cortisol levels, which is the stress hormone, through the roof. This is also why the visceral fat is also increases type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and certain cancers as well. So it's also linked to many chronic diseases. And if you talk to some researchers and some experts, they will tell you that most diseases start in the stomach. And that is because of the visceral fat surrounding all our main organs like the liver, the kidneys, the intestines. So does anyone have any questions on knowing what is your belly fat? So we're really talking about that stubborn fat, the visceral fat that is surrounding your organs, not the little fat that's on top underneath your skin. We're talking about the deep stuff that's in there. All right, so if we don't have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and continue. So why are you here? Because you want to learn how to lose the belly fat. So I have 5 steps for you to do, or 5 things that you can do. And then if you do it in conjunction together, that is really going to work. So number 1, this is where you grab your pen and your paper. So I'm going to give you a few minutes. Go grab that pen and your paper. Oh, somebody said, wait. Yep. Somebody getting their pen and their paper. That's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. Grab that pen and your paper. I love it. I love it. Go ahead. I will wait. Let me know when you're ready. Okay, so how do you know how much of the bad fat we have? Is that the question? I think that's you, Crystal. Um, is that the question? How do we know how much of that bad fat we have? If you could just reword that. I think that's what you're trying to ask. You really do know by the size of your stomach and where you're holding all of that. So a lot of that stuff may be surrounding most of it. Okay, so that was her question. That is surrounding your abdominal cavity, and that's what we're holding on to. So if you see a lot of people, if you see certain individuals, they're holding a lot of their fat in their stomach instead of in other areas. And that's because of the cells that are in there, um, that take up all the fat. Did I answer that? That's good. All right. So how are we gonna lose some belly fat? So grab your pen, grab your paper. First things first, you have to be in a caloric deficit. So 3,500 calories. It takes 3,500 calories to lose 1 pound of fat. 3,500 calories it takes to lose 1 pound of fat. In order to be in a deficit, if you divide the 3,500 by 7, you have to be in a caloric deficit of 500 per day to lose 1 pound of fat in a week. Yes. Oh my God. 1 pound of fat in a week. The crazy thing is, it's so hard to drop the fat, but it's so easy to put it on. And I'll talk about that just a little bit more. So, one way to reduce your caloric to track your caloric deficit is to track your calories. You could use different apps that they have, like MyFitnessPal. That's my favorite personally. But I know um, there's a ton of other uh, apps out there that you can use. Also, you could just control your portions, which is what I teach. It's just much easier, more sustainable to really control your portions and the sizes that you eat and what you're eating in order to get to that 500 caloric deficit. Now, if you want to be specific and really know exactly and track everything, then track your calories and definitely do that. Somebody wrote MyFitnessPal is the app. Um, I can't see. They have to share who it is, um, of who's there. So, so yeah, MyFitnessPal is the one I prefer. I love MyFitnessPal. It's the one I use when I'm trying to track my macros and track my calories. Now, other ways to reduce your belly fat is to definitely eat less simple sugars, trans fats, which are in the stuff that we love. I'm sorry, but the fried foods, the fast foods, the cakes, the donuts, that's the stuff that we really need to reduce in order to reduce the belly fat. We need to stop consuming that type of food because when a lot of it has a lot of sugar, especially, the cakes, and the sweet stuff has a lot of sugar, it becomes insulin. And if you don't use that insulin for energy immediately, it stores it in your body. And for us women, most of the time, it stores it in our belly. I know for me, that's exactly where it goes. So if you don't burn your ability, it just sits there in your belly. You do also get sugar from carbs, which is very important to eat healthier carbs than not to eat the simple sugars and the simple carbs, carbohydrates. Also, I think that was it. Yeah. So the insulin. Does anyone have any questions about that? Please post in the comments. Number two, and this is why this topic is in our theme for the month, is exercise. You must incorporate exercise, both weightlifting and cardio. And this is something that we're going to talk about a little bit deeper in our conversations next Thursday at 8 p.m., where we're going to be talking about the weightlifting versus cardio and what's best, what's not best, and what strategies you should use. but for this conversation, it is very important to do both weightlifting and cardio. Uh, how often? How often what? Could you be a little bit more specific? I'm sorry, that's all I see. Um, and for me to see your name, you have to give me permission on, if you see on top of the video, there's a link. Just click on there and give me permission so I can see who I'm talking to, because I have no idea who's on here. But glad to see some people. All right, so is to do both weightlifting and cardio. And like I said, we're going to talk about this a little bit deeper. But one of the things is to always do weights before cardio. And the reason for that, I know that's a question a lot of people have, like, oh, should I lift weights? Should I do cardio first? What should I do first? Lift weights first. First, how often to exercise. Okay, we'll talk about that in step number 3. So hold on to that question. So always do weights before cardio. And the reason for that is because your body burns glycogen, which is pretty much sugar, and it burns fat for energy. 2 of those things. The first thing your body's going to use is going to be glycogen, which is the sugar. So you want to use that immediate energy to burn the sugar with weightlifting. And then when you do your cardio, guess what you're going to be burning? At that point, you're going to use your stored fat, and that's what you're going to start burning. So you want to use it for the cardio at that point. Does that make sense to everyone? Any questions, please let me know on there. Number 3, to answer the question, how often to do exercise. Not so much how often, but to increase, you have to increase the intensity of your workout. It is a must to increase your intensity of your workout. And it's recommended to switch your workouts out every 4 to 6 weeks or increase the intensity. And what do I mean by increasing the intensity? That means adding more weights, increasing time or your distance, increasing the number of reps or your sets when you're lifting weights. And you could really use an app like I think it's the Interval app. I think it's what it's called. The Seconds app. There's a bunch of different apps that you're using. There's a bunch of different apps that you could track your time to do that. Doing circuits and Tabata. So doing pretty much high intensity interval training is super important as well, where your heart rate goes up and then drops down, and goes up, go down. That means you'll be able to burn more as you're working out. So doing circuits, doing Tabata. When I say Tabata, that's usually either a time interval of 20 seconds, you're doing hardcore work, and then taking a 10-second break, or 30 seconds and 15, or 40 seconds and 20, whatever combination you want. But Tabata is usually known for 20 and 10. And these are a great way to keep the high intensity going and keep your body moving and burning as much. Oh, hey, Crystal, I finally see your face. So those are ways on to really increase. So one of the things, if you guys follow me and see my Instagram or Facebook, I posted recently, one of the things that I do is to plan out my workouts. Plan out your workouts before you go so you know what you're doing. I also track how much I'm lifting, because that way I know if I'm actually increasing and how often I'm increasing the intensity of my workout. So I try to set and keep my set workouts for about 4 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, usually 4, and then I switch them up again or increase the intensity after the 4 weeks, because your body gets used to it. So you're not going to burn as much once your body gets used to whatever amount. Let's say it doesn't have to be weightlifting. If you are running, if you're running for a mile, wow, you're running for a mile for, let's say, 2 weeks, your body gets used to it and you're not going to burn as much calories. So you have to increase that intensity to increase the burning sensation for that. So hopefully that makes sense to everyone. Does anybody have any questions on that? Number four. One that everyone, including myself, I can't even lie, we really take for granted how important and how it affects the way we lose weight, and especially how we lose our belly fat. Stress, sleep, and our hormones. They all play a huge role in losing our belly fat, especially for us women. Our hormones, as we get older, our estrogen levels decrease, and it honestly it influences where's the fat going to be distributed, and usually it goes right to the stomach, and it makes it a little bit harder for us to lose the belly fat, especially when you're on menopause or having hormone imbalances. So it's important to check those, make sure your stress level is low, make sure you're getting adequate sleep, still 8 hours or somewhere around there. Um, a lot of people ask me, how do I wake up at 3 o'clock? I still get 7 hours of sleep. I just go to bed early. That's it. I'm in bed by 8 o'clock. As a matter of fact, this is my bedtime. Today is the day that I sleep a little later, but then I wake up a little later as well. So I get 7 to 8 hours of sleep on a daily basis, even though I get up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. So sleep, stress, your hormones play a huge role. Last but not least, number 5, consistency. Consistency. I just tongue tied. You have to be consistent. This You have to be consistent with all of these factors: what you're eating, how much you're exercising, the intensity that you're exercising with, how much sleep you're getting. All of these have to play a role, and they're all connected. They all affect how you lose your belly fat. So being consistent, you have to be patient. It takes time. You have to do it consistently for a long period of time in order to see the results. We unfortunately live in a world where everything is microwave results and we want them immediately, myself included. I get it. I go to the gym, I work out on my abs for like 3 days, and I'm like, where are my abs? Where they at? Why they not here yet? um but you have to keep pushing through it. Be patient with yourself and keep doing the things that you have to do. Now, it's important not to overly stress yourself. Stress is part of it. Don't stress yourself making things difficult or making things extreme. Do it in a way that you can handle it. So that's why I said counting calories, that's great if you know what you're doing and you can stick to it for a long period of time. If not, try portion control, reducing the amount of food that you're eating, changing the quality of food that you're eating. Those simple things, and drinking water. We're in the middle of a water challenge. Drinking water. Those simple things will make a difference, and you will start seeing results, losing your belly fat, losing fat overall. Does anyone have any questions? I see there's some people on. Any questions? I'll hold on for a little bit. Trying to see anybody have any questions. Any questions for me? All right, I know I'm in a little delay. So let me summarize again. Step 1, or number 1, is a caloric deficit. You want to be in a caloric deficit. In order to know exactly where your caloric deficit, why am I getting tongue tied? I'm trying to talk too fast. Caloric deficit. In order for you to be in a caloric deficit, you have to know how much you're eating. So either track the calories you're doing, or as I mentioned before, control your portions and start that way with and changing the quality of food that you're eating, because you do need 3,500 calories in order to lose 1 pound of fat. And then if you do this during the week, in 7 days, that's 500 calories a day that you have to be in a deficit. But how would you know what's 500 calories if you don't know how much you're eating? Also, number 2, incorporate exercise, weightlifting, and cardio. Number 3, increase the intensity of your workouts as often about every 4 to 6 weeks. And that means increasing weights, time, distance, number of reps, sets, and using an app to help you with that. Number 4 is be vigilant on your stress level, your sleep quality, and your hormones. If you know your hormones are out of whack, definitely go visit the doctor and get a hormone check. And number 5 is staying consistent long enough to see the results. You have to stay consistent to see the results. Otherwise, you're not going to see it. So let me see. There is another called anaerobic level and another one. Which should we be in? Um, okay, so I think you're talking about the cardio. The cardio. Okay, I wait. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I did not mean to put you on there. I'm sorry. Okay, so yeah, in the cardio, it's really honestly, don't get caught up with the technical words. It's really just doing your cardio where you do it after you weight lift and making sure. I love to do the best way to do the cardio in a shorter amount of time is doing a hit. Is really doing a hit exercise where you do it in a short period of time for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but you're doing going hardcore for those 10 minutes. That's, that will give you the best results. Like out of breath to lose weight. Not sure what you're asking on that one. Okay. Not sure what you are asking, Crystal. But yeah, so there's a ton of different, terminology. Why can't I talk today? Um, to exercise, but keeping it simple so you could be consistent. That's really the key here. Keeping things as simple as possible that fits your lifestyle in order to stay consistent. Because at the end of the day, consistency is what's going to get you the results and being sustainable throughout a long period of time.